All right, in this short video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a new application, how to save your database, and how to create your new project. So if you look over here at the project, you'll notice it's just a brand new project. There's nothing in here. I just have my env file. That's it. Don't put anything in there. I'm going to start off by creating a new directory. I'm going to call that directory app. And then I'm going to create a new file, Python file called main.py. And then in app, I'm going to create a new Python file called functions. All right. And then I'm going to put the database inside app. So I'm going to open up my DB browser. I'm going to go new database, and I'm going to select the D drive, and I'm going to select my teaching and Python project 3 and app. Okay. And that's where I'm going to put it. And I'm just going to call this one, let's just call it test.db. Okay. And for my tables, we're going to do users with an S because we have more than one user. And I'm going to say ID, and I'm going to make it a primary key and auto increment. I'm going to add another one called fname. I'm going to change that to a text. Add another one called lname. I'm going to change that to a text. Click OK. And I'm going to write changes to the database. Notice in my DB browser up here, it says test.db. I don't go to file. I don't save as. That's all I do. If I go to browse data, I can change to my user table, and I can insert a user. So I'm going to put in Brian and Marshall. All right, I'll write the changes, and I'm going to just make this bigger so we can see what it is. All right, and I'm write the changes. So that is good. Now, I want to create in my app, I'm just going to minimize that. And notice that inside my app, there's my test.db. If I open it up, it opens all crazy in here. You can't do it. So don't try to open it in PyCharm. All right. But I want to create a main file. And in my main file, which is here, I want to create a GUI. Okay. So I'm going to go back over to ChatGPT. Okay. And in the message, I'm going to simply say, create a new, make this go up a little bit, I think, so we can see it good. All right. Create a new Python application. Okay, so we're telling it what to do. That uses Tkinter, that's the GUI software, for a new app that will add a user into the test.db database. Or I will actually get really specific, SQLite3 database with a table called users and a primary key ID with first name and last name. Okay. All right. We should be able to add a new user and delete a user using buttons, and all the users should show up in a list. I think we'll call it a tree list. All right, let's just see what that does. So it's going to write some pretty fast software that we're going to put in there. So creating a Python app, blah, 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 uses to add, okay, all this other stuff. All right, set up the database. Database is already set up, so that one's done, okay? And then it's going to say import SQLite3 and all of this, okay? Build the Tkinter application. So this one here is a new file, not necessarily the one that we're going to use for the application. Okay. And then this is the code we'll use for Tkinter to create the Tkinter stuff. Again, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. It's creating some labels and some delete buttons and stuff like that. And then next it's going to define the functions. Okay. So add user. And then it will insert the user into the database. fname, last name, fname, last name. Awesome, very good. Delete the user, update the tree view. So after it gets done, it will, after it gets added, it will update the tree view, and then you'll initialize the application. So final steps, add the user. Okay, this is basic implementation. You expand it to, so let's expand it. We are going to put the functions in the app functions.py file and the GUI in the main.py file a level up. Okay, let's see how that works. And it basically says it's a good idea. Let's structure your application as follows. All right, so in this next one, it's going to write all the code that we need for the app functions. Okay, so add user, that all looks pretty good. It looks like it takes in first name and last name. Delete the user, it just passes in the user ID. That's all you need to do to know to delete it. It's going to tell you to get all the users and pass them back. So if you ever call get all the users, it's going to do select all from users. That's kind of nice. It does a fetch all and returns all the rows, which is kind of nice. And then in the main, all right, looks like this is a lot of the GUI stuff here. So the add user callback, this is what updates the tree view. And if you, after you delete a user, it updates the tree view. So this and this both either after you click to add the user, it updates the tree view. After you delete the user, it updates the tree view. Okay. And this is the update tree view. Okay. Goes out and gets everything. And then here is the Tkinter window, root, and all that stuff set up. So let us start by copying all of this code, and we'll go right into our functions and we'll just paste it right in. Okay, that's pretty good. Then it looks like we can go back to our code and say the test.db is also inside the app folder. And it should just adjust this connection. And I don't really like how this connection is being connected each time. You can always pull that out and make it a little bit better, but let's see what it does. So we come down here and it adds the path. So here, db path, os path join, os path dir name file test.db. This is inside the functions, okay? And it tells it where it is in the db path. So basically it says it's in the directory and pass in it's inside that directory. So let's add that line of code here. So we'll add this and this one, okay? We'll need that. And then this needs to be changed to db path. You know what? Let's just copy all the code again and just replace it. So we come over here and just paste it. And it just changes a little bit. It adds this here, which is here, and it takes this test DB and puts it, and then also adds this here. Okay. So let's go back to our ChatGPT and let's look at the original GUI code, which would be add users. No. Probably this code here is probably the closest. So we're going to copy that code, go back over here, go to main, and paste it in. And that's going to grab all of the stuff here. And notice that we have this problem here in red. So what we'll do here is we'll say app / actually from app.functions import all. App add user. So it seems like there's an error, right? So we can just come back here and be like, why is this code not working? And it will probably say, oh, you're missing half your code, because it told us that we were missing half our code. The issue in your code is, so here from app.functions, import add user, delete user, get all users. Okay. So we'll probably want that code. So we'll copy that and we'll go back to PyCharm and paste that in there. All right. And we don't need this anymore because we have it there. Okay. And we don't need this anymore because we have it there. And I don't think we're, oh, it's here. Okay. So I think we're good on that. It used all three of them. Okay. So we're good there. And let's go back and look. And we're missing all of the stuff here. It says add your widget code as previously described. And what I'd like to do is say, now let's add the widget code to a main function on the main.py page. And it should take all of the code that we previously used here. Okay, so all of this code here that was below, okay, so all of this code, and it should put it inside a main function. Okay, so notice here's the first three: the user callback, the callback, and the update, the tree view. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then when we come down here, all that other code is getting added to a main function. Okay, so let's just look and see if everything looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. So we can, at this point, let me scroll back down. We can just copy that code. So all this code looks very complete. So we can just copy that code and replace the main code. So I'm just going to replace that. And let's just see what this looks like. So I got my current file and I'm going to run it. All right. So I have first name, last name, add user. Okay. And it read it out of the database. Okay. So let's add a user, right? So it says add user and there's nothing there. So, okay. Let's delete the user. Gone. Let's add a different name, right? So we'll just go Sean Thomas and add that user. Okay. We'll go back and notice it says 3. Okay. So we'll go back to our database and just hit refresh. And there's that one. Okay. So we know it's working. So now we can delete the user. All right. And come back over here and hit refresh. And now it's deleted. So we know we're able to add and delete. All we have to do now is edit. So let's go back to this and say, now I want to edit the user by loading the click into the entry boxes. That might work. So let's click that. And it should add another thing to the functions. It should add another function, and then it should make some changes to a new one. So let's just look and see what it does. So it says it's going to bind a select event to the tree view. So when you click on it, it will bind that. It will add a different button for save after you update, and then it will create a function for updating the user. So in the main.py, all right, so it's going to come in and do all the updates on tree select. Okay, here's our select tree. So if you do a select, it's going to do the select. It's going to go through and it'll insert, update, and delete. All right. And then when we come back down, it's going to update the tree view, that one we've already had. And then here's our main, but in our main, it has a bunch of stuff that's missing. And we can be like, write out the whole main function. Oh, there's our update user code here. So let's copy that before it starts finishing that. So let's put that in our functions over here. And there's our update user function. And let's go back to main and see if it finished. All right, so it's getting to the tree select. So this should include everything that we're going to need. Okay, it did make some adjustments here. This wasn't like this before, but that's okay. We'll look and see what it's going to do. All right, so it finished out all of the main function, which is kind of nice. So I don't have to worry about doing that. And it's doing all the binding, it updates everything, and it has all that, okay? So feel free to keep going and telling it to do more and more and more, okay? Like add to this, take away this. Sometimes it will kind of ruin it a little bit, so you've got to watch what it's doing and then tell it exactly what to do. But it does a pretty good job. So I'm going back to main. I'm going to just paste this in. Everything looks like there's no errors, and I'm going to run it again. So I'm going to stop. And I'm going to run it again. All right. So I'm just going to do test, add the user. If I click on it, it loads it back up here, test 2, and update the user. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here and view it. And I'm going to delete the user. So delete the user. It's gone. And I'm going to come back over here and refresh. And now it's gone. So big picture, that took about, I'm not sure how much time we've done on it. Hopefully I was recording. So that took about 15, 16 minutes to do that whole thing, to get a read, update, delete, use ChatGPT several different times to make sure that it's working, to put the test database inside the app, to put the functions in there, and to get main working. You just keep working and working and working it until you get it the way that you like it.